So get this, it's a Saturday night. You've just been invited to the most exclusive frat party at the university. You're on cloud nine, and you're picking out the perfect outfit for the event. So you arrive at the party, and you see your crush. And he grabs you by the hand, and he takes you upstairs, where you can finally be alone together. But darkness greets you, and you fall to the floor, and you're pinned down by 7 men. This is what happened to Jackie at the University of Virginia. An innocent girl gang rape.
Another direction.
Okay. So, recently there are many on-campus rape stories that have been surfacing. The problem is that they seem to be traced back to frats. Dealing with frats, the universities tend to, as they call it, sweep it under the rug. As a woman, I can feel for Jackie because it is easy to be fooled by a couple of strong arms and twinkling eyes. Men lie, and they lie often. Learning about Jackie's case will help us understand the position that many college freshmen are put in. First, I will share with you the revelation of Jackie's story. Second, how her story lost credibility. And finally, how we can make changes to prevent a situation like hers. So first, what really happened the night of Jackie's rape? In order to understand Jackie's story, we must first review the facts about her revelation, and second, the effect it had on her. It was Jackie's freshman year of 2012. She was beyond thrilled to have been invited to a frat party. Not just any frat, by the way, none other than Phi Kappa Psi. What made this party even better was that Drew, the young man she had been crushing on, had invited her. They worked together at a pool, so she felt that she could trust Drew. That is, of course, until she realized his true intentions. Once at the party, she was led to a room where she intended to spend a romantic get-together with handsome Drew. When she walked in the room was dark. She could not see anything, and in the blink of an eye, she was forced to the ground, men holding down each of her legs and arms. Rolling Stone relates, written by Erdely, published in 2014. She remembers every moment of the next 3 hours of agony, during which she says 7 men took turns raping her, while 2 more, her date, Drew, and 1 other man gave instruction and encouragement. Can you begin to imagine what this poor girl went through? Rape is already as bad as it can get, but being raped by more than 1 man, well, that is simply unjustifiable. Jackie was a mess after the incident. Close roommates say that it had been weeks since they saw her. She would not come out of her room. Not only that, but she had switched shifts at the pool to avoid any confrontations with Drew. Jackie changed. She became reserved because she lived in fear. Although she is obviously going through a tough time, there are skeptics out there like Jean Lyons, who says, from CurryHub.com, published in January 2015, so tell me again how disbelieving Jackie's melodramatic tale of woe means that I'm disrespecting women. According to him, women are very good liars, yet how are we certain it's not the men that are doing the lying here? Now that we have discussed Jackie's side of the story, let's move on to our second point, which deals how she lost her credibility. We now have a clear picture of what Jackie went through. Yet what do we know about the other side of the story? First, we will discuss the details versus the actual facts, and then move on to how the story took on a new angle. The story Jackie gave was very detailed to the point. I only gave a brief summary. The matter of the fact is that she claimed there was glass on the floor when she was being raped by the men. That after it was over, she left running and bleeding, and she found her friends. Her friends supposedly walked her to the hospital and advised her not to let word out because they would lose popularity. This is where the story begins to get flawed. The hospital had no records of a bleeding girl with glass in her back. Not only were that, but the pictures she had given of the aggressors weren't even real students from UVA. Rolling Stone issued somewhat of an apology to the readers, saying, the fraternity had issued a formal statement denying the assault and asserting that there was no date function or formal event on the night of question. Jackie's credibility began to dissipate. Now that we know more facts than allegations, the readers begin to question whether this was real or just make-believe. What could be the case? What could be the case is known as secondary victimization, where she feels that she is best keeping it to herself or even lying to keep a school from getting a bad reputation. After the article on Rolling Stone was posted, many women also decided to come forward. One says, "Sadly, I was also raped at UVA in a frat house in 2013. I reported it through the Sexual Misconduct Board at the university and had it tried in 2014. My evidence included texts calling for help, police testimony consistent with mine, and numerous witnesses, but the university still found him innocent. This was among many other women, so there could be a possible trend that the university is trying to cover it up. So after discussing Jackie's story and how she lost credibility, let us explore the ways we can prevent something like this from happening on our campus. While it seems that society is becoming isolated, we must stick together to find a solution. First, I will discuss how rapes occur and then how we can prevent them. Now, according to usatoday.com, published in August 2014, 74% of perpetrators and 55% of rape victims are under the influence of alcohol. This being said, we must take into account that if a change is made, it must be a personal one, like knowing the limits to your alcohol intake and stopping yourself. To prevent the rapes, one should take many precautions. For example, making sure to arrive at the parties with a group of friends and always sticking together. Suggested by wikihow.com, it says, learn about the effects of date rape, drugs, and alcohol. This will keep you informed and ready in case your drink smells, looks, or tastes funny. Now that we know Jackie's story and what we can do, let's wrap things up. Jackie's case helped to shed light on many rape cases and how we can prevent them. First of all, I talked about Jackie's story. Secondly, I mentioned how she lost credibility. And finally, how we can prevent these situations. Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to fit in, we forget what truly matters. What matters is that you're here to find yourself and a career that brings you joy. What matters is your career choices. It is still okay to have fun, but always keep in mind that how you act reflects on the type of person you are.